Welcome to Survey of American Literature for the 2020-2021 school year. This course is an American Lit course that is intended to help students build the independent skills necessary to succeed at the undergraduate level, both in terms of writing and reading. What we really focus on in terms of those two areas of content are taking the writing nice and slow, making sure that we chunk things out into independent skills, and work to master those skills, and then master the ability to chunk out those skills ourselves from a larger assignment, so that students are able to, in the future, organize their own work in accord with the principles that they'll be learning, especially in the first half of the year. Similarly, with the reading, we are working on comprehension and retention techniques that will improve students' facility with college-level literature when they come to that. The overarching motto here is depth. So we only are, as you'll see in a few slides, we're only moving through 5 texts. We are taking our time, learning how to build context, both historically and culturally, apply that context to what's being done in the book, symbolically, and in terms of the argument or arguments that the author might be making, working to build the skills necessary to understand those arguments or symbolic and thematic messages, and then learning how to chunk out writing tasks that deal with those issues in a literary text effectively. The arc of the course is as follows. So we are starting out right now, as at the week that I'm recording this, first week of September here, with the Puritans and understanding how Puritan modes of thought linger in the American mindset, moving through some slave narratives, particularly the life of Frederick Douglass, and then taking a nice long spell with the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, to see how these Puritan beliefs play out in American conceptions of race. Obviously, this book is quite old, relatively speaking, for American Lit, but it does do an excellent job of capturing these dynamics, both in terms of things we're experiencing now and showing how Puritan conceptions of individual merit play out in American life. That's what we're looking for there. With the second quarter, we're going to do a little bit of work with the emergence of modern American life as the American urban center develops as we know it now in the 1890s. And then we're going to settle in with The Great Gatsby, which is a wonderful book. I love teaching it. There's so much going on there. Not just with the development of American urban centers, but the reaction to World War I, modernism as a stylistic movement in literature, and the consequences of Prohibition. There is a lot of fun stuff going on with Gatsby, and the boys have a great deal of fun with it every year. We move to the Second World War and the Japanese internment in the third quarter, and do the large research paper for the year. So students have to evaluate, in light of the 3 major texts they've read thus far, whether race or class dynamics are most decisive in shaping tensions in American life. What's really going on here? And so they bring all 3 texts to bear in their argument for that, whichever they might choose. In the fourth quarter, we work with Vietnam and get a little bit of exposure to postmodern writing in the things they carried, which is short. I wouldn't say dense, but symbolically deep. Do a little bit of creative writing. And we conclude the year with Watchmen, which is a graphic novel also dealing with Vietnam and to some extent the Reagan era, and is a great deal of fun. I think it is a wonderful way to spend late April and May. And I think that is, in my 3 years of teaching this class, the book that the boys enjoy most. And don't think because it is a graphic novel it's not meritorious in literary terms. It's got a lot going on, and I I love to teach it. For more general policies, this is all in the syllabus, but I'm going to hit some highlights, especially during the hybrid and online learning setup. Communication is key. I'm very happy to be flexible for family situations, work situations, sports situations. All I ask is that students communicate. The three main tech services are Remind, Moodle, and Turnitin. Anything involving original student writing goes through Turnitin. As I emphasize with the boys, the only real issue that I have in terms of student behavior is plagiarism. I encourage your sons to fall on their sword if that's something they're tempted to do, and just come to me and say that they're not ready to submit the work on time. I would much prefer to arrange a later deadline with a grade ceiling on the work than have to give them a 0 and begin honors council proceedings. So this, like most other problems, can be avoided with communication. For Zoom, the standard school policies apply. So if a student is learning synchronously for that day, or where a kid is asked to Zoom in on his off day, it's important that the student be upright, have their camera on, and be in dress code. Again, if you have any questions about any of these policies, please do shoot me an email or refer to the syllabus. The best way to reach me is via email. The school phone number listed for me here just comes to my inbox anyway. Obviously, call if it's more convenient for you, but I will. And make sure to leave a phone number for me there in the voicemail if you do go that route. But I will always respond within 24 hours, or if it's sent late on a Friday, by the end of the day on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you and your sons and helping them to grow as literature students and as writers. So thank you, and if there's any support you need or anything that I can do for you or your son, please reach out.